Thank you so much. Your feedbacks are very inspiring and encouraging, and we promise to do even more and better in the coming episodes. Now, I'm not alone. God's servant is in the studio with me. I would like to step back for him to give us set the course for today's episode, and also give us a preview of what we should expect in the next quarter of the year.
I was it yesterday. Good morning. How are you? I tried to, when everywhere was very calm, I was alone in my prayer room and I tried to know why man has so much difficulties. And I discovered that it's the power of privilege. When you give the privilege of marriage, the privilege of working relationship, the privilege of pastoring, the privilege of being a shepherd, of being a sheep, being a colleague, being a brother, being a father, all of those privileges is not really defined. So people take advantage of a lot of things. And sometimes, for those of us who have led people for a long time, you discover that one of the greatest common traits you can see in people is offenses. And if you really can define why you were offended, and you will know that it's because of a privilege that is triggering that offenses. We don't have people anymore in our lives who have the burden of the heart of where they are. Rather, they have the burden of what they want you to see. So that is why offenses are very pronounced everywhere. In marriages, offenses. Parenting, offenses. In the church, the church is in a massive scale, heavy offenses. Because the burden of a place is not seen by people. All they see is themselves. So as long as you keep seeing people not having the burden of a thing, they will always be offended. And because it is the burden that leads you to reasoning. And it is reasoning that now leads you to knowing what to do. So when a man is always offended, ask a Christian, let me ask you this, somebody is very good in what he does, all of a sudden starts showing certain traits of unseriousness, non-commitment. The problem is offenses. And if you ask why that offenses is even coming up, it's a relative act of either familyhood, either job, either which has triggered to statements and actions or unexplained interpretations that the person is not sure of. And all of these things is bringing us to a place of stagnation, untrustness, and I feel for leaders. Leaders are the ones going through a lot. Fathers, those mothers who stand as parents to their children. Those fathers who stand as fathers. Those leaders who are visionaries. I feel for them. And I took my time yesterday night. I couldn't sleep to pray for fatherhood, for visionaries, for those who are leaders, who have the burden to see things grow. Because it can kill people. It can ruin people's life because the thing is more, and we are entered a season of ungratefulness, a season where people are entitled to a lot of things. So, and I pray that somebody here who is a leader, listen to me, should be encouraged and reprogram yourself. I told myself you can't change people, but you can defend your vision. That's what I said to myself yesterday. You cannot change people, you cannot beg people, but you can reprogram your vision to make sure the vision is not stranded because of the people that you have around you. I think that will help a leader.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, so we'll start today's question from the ministry angle of the segment, and we had a couple of questions sent in by pastors, especially pastors from the Middle East. So we're going to take the first question from Pastor Caleb, who says, "Good morning, Bishop." Says, "Good morning, Bishop. Please, how do you maintain the consistent unction and fire in our services? Because I noticed that there are some service, it looks as if I was over the top and the presence of God was everywhere. And in other services, it's as if it's just like a normal service, normal feeling. How do we maintain this unction and fire in the service at all times?"
The directions of God is important in anything you do. That's why I said earlier we should stop. See, this logic approach to ministry is killing the presence of God. People are bringing so much to church that is ungodly. And then, so because of that, we tend to define church to suit in the sight of man. For example, your body system has certain things it doesn't want at a certain age of your life. But you are refusing to accept that because you're not having the signs. So you want to break down first before you start stopping those things. But your body system has told you at a certain age in your life, there are certain things you should avoid. It's a natural factor about man. So if you want to get certain things done, you must keep doing certain things. A prayer life, God leading you to what to preach. And those are a strong prayer life, a strong study life, and a strong unctional life. A life where God is telling you what to do per time. And then that fresh fire will always be there. When you see that fire dying, it's because it is you leading yourself. Sometimes they are good advice, but it's not from God. I notice the other day, you can have a very good advice, but it's not God asking you to do it. So that's why you're going to struggle. So for ministry, you must not have good advice. It must be divine advice. God must give the guidance. So he will take charge of the other part of it.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, there you go, Pastor Caleb. God must be the one leading. The next question says, "God bless you, sir. My name is Pastor Ishmael, and I just want to ask, sir, for a new ministry God has called you into, how how can one start, and then how do you handle recruitment of pastors for a fresh work?"
I will not advise the word recruitment. I will advise the word building people as workers. Just make everybody to serve. An intensive training keeps going like that. That's what, from that process, you can know the ones God has to use at a certain level and get them engaged for it.
So that means he can allow them randomly to handle some certain things in the service, certain aspects, until God gives him.
Yes.
All right, sir. So there you go, Pastor Ishmael. God's servant has given you clarity on what to do, especially for a fresh walk. And then this last one for ministries, please also know that we are trying to combine some of the questions that look alike, so that we would not give God's servant so much stress of trying to repeat himself. So we collate the questions and we try to rephrase them to meet everyone's question, so that God's servant can give a direct answer to them. All right, so this one says, "Good morning, sir. My name is Christopher. I currently based in Kaduna. Now, upon recently, I have been running a music ministry, which I am quite, by the grace of God and help of God, quite popular in the city of Kaduna. Now, quite recently, I had beginning to have some revelations and visions. Then I went to my pastor, and he confirmed to me that God is calling me into something higher. Now, my question, sir, would be, how can I combine my music ministry and this new pastoral call without neglecting any of them? I have tried to study some of our minstrels in the country, who are also confirmed full-time pastors, and also run their music ministries effectively. But I seem not to have a direct answer to them because I am afar. Hence, I came to the gospel manager to ask you this question. So, please, sir, how can I combine my music ministry and my pastoral call without neglecting any?
The most important of it all is where he's serving. And my prayer for those definitions is that the way life is run today, we must be careful the kind of conclusions we give to people. Because if conclusions are given premature and people take their steps, and if they are not ready for it, the miscalculations will surely be there. So let him take his time. If the person he spoke with is his pastor, and see the windows around that ministry first. That's the first thing he should do. And he should allow that pastor to guide him. I won't sit here and tell him what to do because I don't know the kind of ministry he's running there, how effective it is. But I would say that if he was wise enough to speak to his pastor, he should allow his pastor to guide him on that line on how to go. Let him not take advantage of confirmation for decision making and then get up and start doing things against the person who was supposed to advise him. But that's what people do today. When you confirm a thing, they use it against you in the process. So it doesn't tell well of ministry today. Ministry is being one of the most abused sector on the earth today because of the immature way people are approaching it and getting to start it. So it's looking very abusive. So I pray he takes his time listening to the person who is leading him. And if it is an outreach to go on or it's a group level in the same work for him to progress with it, those guys will come. But let him really. So to start, you need more information. I've always told people to start a thing, it's better it takes you, it took Jesus 30 years to start. 30 years. 30 good years to start. To start is the most careful thing you must do with your life. Because your starting is your finishing. So because people don't know that foundation is more important than the roofing. Somebody can live in a house without roof. But you cannot stay in a house without the foundation. You cannot. You can't stay in a house without the foundation. But you can stay in a place without a roof. So let's be careful how we start. Because that is the essence of your life. Even the Bible spoke about your foundation. The foundation. The foundation. It's important he gets to get that part of his life right and asks more questions to the man he's serving. Not outside the man, to the person he's serving. That will help.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, we have a response question from Pastor Caleb. He said, "Good morning, Bishop. Thank you for your answer. I will do just as you said. But please, sir, are there any pre-service routines that you do before you get into service to maintain the fire and unction of God in your life at your services?"
I don't teach people patterns. If you read the Bible, if you want to preach, you sit down and reflect over what you want to preach and pray about it. So everybody have the way they do that thing. So God will tell him how to do that. I try not to create some persons have built a culture for themselves where they say, if you don't pray for 80 hours, if you don't do this, you don't do that. I'm not in that school of thought. I don't give people those kind of directions. I just tell you to know what you can do to get the best out of your life. And reasoning is one thing that at least that one, everybody should be doing that one now. Sit down, reflect over what you want to preach, pray about it. How many minutes you feel you can pray about it, that's your choice. Pray about it. Stay quietly in a place and reflect over the message you want to preach. Then pray about it and ask the Holy Ghost to help you. That's the normal tradition that any human being who is in the ministry should do. So if you have an extension by covenant, that's your privacy. And that God will show to you to how to handle that.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, the next question is from Pastor Gideon Adengo. He says, "Good morning, Bishop. I just want to ask this very quick question because sometimes I get so sad and other times I get challenged when I see and listen to sermons by some of our preachers, especially those who run prayer ministries. Um like Rosavan said a couple of minutes ago, he said, there are people who assert that if you have not prayed 7 hours straight as a Christian, that you have not started your Christian work. And there are some who pray, like myself, the highest I have gone ever was 3 hours. Most times I pray, I'm not against the praying ministry, I'm praying for lengthy hours. But I think I hear God and I see God move even when I pray 30 minutes, 1 hour, and so on. So, my question would be, sir, is there any justification in scriptures or in the Christian work that one must be found praying for longer hours to be justified as a Christian? Because even though even though the Bible says pray without ceasing, would it be a sin if one has the strength and capacity for 3 hours and just stay put at that?
You know, directions are very prime light that we must take serious. Praying is not a problem. Reading is not a problem. But pattern is what I'm talking about. Let's not make certain things a pattern to people's life. Jesus prayed, Jesus studied, Jesus worshipped, Jesus taught, everything he did. So pattern is what we should be careful about. Whatever is good for you can help the next man. Whatever is good for me can help the next man. Let's just teach what is good for us. But let's not abuse others what is good for them. You understand what I'm saying? What is good for me should be taught to people. Those who feel they like what I do can learn it. What is good for the next man also should be taught. And let people try to learn things that will aid them. But let's not condemn those who can't do certain things at a certain time. As long as they are not prayerless, but they are prayerful, but they can't go at the length that you go. As long as they are word-based, but they are not as lengthy, because everything with the grace of God in a man's life. There are certain things I can do that you can do. So when we understand the graces we carry and know how to treat our issues, we don't condemn, we compliment. So you bring yours, I bring mine. And so let him check what he is good at. And bother less about what somebody said. What are you good at? And then align yourself with what looks like what you are good at and keep doing it consistently. And then he will progress from there.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, this next question is from a user named Tidex, and it's on relationship. He said, "Good morning, Bishop. I want to first of all thank you for the Gospel Manager. I really enjoy these platforms when I watch them on Facebook." He says, "Sir, please, my question would be, how do you approach someone you really like but seems not to be even interested in relationships? Now, this is a case study of myself and a lady in our I Care unit in church. She is very jovial, very humble, very down to earth. A lot of men have her as their desired woman for marriage. But then, in my course of interacting with her, we got so close that I thought a perfect time. We got so close to an occasion where I felt it was the perfect time to hit my proposal. But I got the shocker of my life as she told me that she's not interested in relationships for now. And so I asked her, so when do you want to be in a relationship? And then she answers and replies, I'm not even interested in this marriage of a teen because of the issues I have heard. I just want to live my life and live in God's plan. Now, in this case, sir, you really like this girl and you don't want to lose her. How can you win the heart of this queen?"
I have once said here that environmental privileges are one of the most unguided atmospheres that we have today. People take staying together as an advantage to do certain things. I have lived my life for very long. One of the things I didn't do is to try to take advantage of people that I see every day. And people do that a lot. You don't build a relationship with somebody you see every day like that. One, you don't. There are certain things you must look out for in a person first before you even try to make a statement. And two, if the person now says, I'm not interested, there's no need to worry. It's like going to buy something in a shop. Before you start committing your heart, you must first check if the person agrees with you. So if you go to buy something in a shop and they say they don't have it, what are you supposed to do? Is to go elsewhere. So if you start crying that they don't have it, you have committed yourself wrongly, because going to buy is not a problem. If they don't have it, they go elsewhere. Now that you are looking bothered, it simply means you have committed yourself first before you even purchase. So that's wrong. You don't do that to yourself. So the damage will go to you for not knowing how to approach the matter. It was supposed to be first trying to know the thing you're trying to buy before selling your heart to the thing. So let him first correct himself. The guy has no problem. Let him go and readdress his mind first and know that he was going to buy. And it's either you buy where you wanted to buy or you go elsewhere to buy. So if the girl says she's not interested, she's not interested. He should just move on. But saying that he wants to say that he loves. You don't love something that has not accepted you. You love after you have been accepted. You pick the interest and make the approach. If the person aligns with you, you don't love what you don't know. I don't know how somebody will even love somebody he does not know. Before you love somebody, you must know the person. You must be talking. You must have sat down together, have conversations. You must have seen anger. You must have seen a lot of things about the person before you love the person. And that's why I wonder that somebody sleeps with you that's around you here. I don't understand how. Because there are some traces you must see in a person that will make you even submit yourself to a person. No matter how you laugh, whether you share food together or you stay in one room, that's not a guarantee for anything. That is my life. It's not a guarantee for anything, because that is nothing. So when it has to do with the future, there are certain conversations I need to have with you. Your temperament level, your neatness level, how you reason, how you behave, how you reconcile issues. Because these are very important things. How you reconcile issues, how you respond to questions, how you even answer them, how you even behave when you are angry. All of those things are necessary in a relationship. So you don't check all of those things. You just call yourself, wow. Then you now go to a level where you have to sleep with the person. No, those are very, very hard parts of a man's life. Those are very hard parts of a man. You don't play with your nakedness. No. There's a progression in life that you go to. So if you just saw somebody, believer, spiritual, committed, that's not enough. No, that's not enough. There must be a certain progression that leads to that. Then I can now say, can you be my wife? At that level now, you are too sure of certain things, then you can make your proposal. So that stage is even not right to even propose to a woman, because the girl does not know you. She doesn't even know you. She knows you as a member of a church. She doesn't, and that's why I keep talking to ladies. How can a young man propose to you in a church because you saw him in church? I don't understand. Then proposes to you, you say yes. In 1 week, he sleeps with you. In another week, he has he has taken you to his mother, taken you to his father, but you don't know him. You don't know her. I don't understand that kind of thing. No, I must know you. I am marrying you, so I will study you. We have a program coming, The Observant. A woman should be observant, very observant. You observe the person so well that you know his past without even asking him. You know his strength, you know his weaknesses. So when he starts saying, marry me, he says, but please, these things I see around you, if you don't work on them, I can't marry you. Because it is marriage. So he needs not to be offended and know how to treat his emotions before making proposal for marriage.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very, very insightful and also a guide to every young person, including myself, as to making proposals to anybody you have intentions to or interest towards. Remember, one of the striking things he said, you don't just love who you don't know. You could have interest, but don't develop love, especially with the analogy he gave about going to a supermarket and you want something but they don't have it. You can't kill yourself because they don't have it. You go somewhere else where they have what you want and what you desire. All right, so this next question is somewhat kind of the same, but on the other side of the divide. It says, good morning, Bishop. My name is Stephanie. I'm currently streaming from Mosoga. So I think I have a problem. I come from a family of 9. I have my elder ones all married. I'm the last child. And my question would be if it's a problem, but I don't simply feel attached to this relationship thing. I just live my life, I do my business, and I'm successful. I'm passionate about my business more than any other thing, especially relationships. Now I had slothfully got into 2 relationships just to convince myself that I can do it. But nothing happened, there were no issues. I just woke up one morning and didn't feel it and called it off. The first and the second. Now I've been having countless approaches from men, but I don't still feel this desire for any romantic relationship whatsoever. My mother will always tell me to pray against it because she's worried that I'm the last child and I need to get married so that she knows that all her children are married and settled. But I don't still feel it. Even when I had conversations with my elder sisters and brothers, I just tell them bluntly that I'm not ready, I'm not interested in things like that. So is this a problem or is there anything I could do to salvage the situation? That is, if it is one.
Respect is something. One of the things that I feel people have not studied is, have you ever sat down and take a pen and write the word respect and reason over that word, what it really means? For 5, 10 minutes. The problem here is respect. And I'm going to define it now. The moment you start respecting a thing, the first thing that comes with respect is honor. The moment you start having respect for a thing, the first thing that comes in your mind is honoring that thing. And the second thing that comes in your life is admiration. And the other thing that follows is loving it. And the other one now is commitment to that thing. So you see, it is not, this is the problem. If she starts respecting the male figure, she will honor it. The moment she honors it, she will admire it. The moment you admire it, you will love it. The moment you love it, you commit yourself to it. And this is where a lot of people have issues, even those who are married. Some women have just one problem. I've heard somebody say women need attention, and I'm laughing. A woman does not need attention. I keep looking at people, you just talk anyhow. You know, it's easy to preach a common message, make a common statement, blah, blah, blah. A woman does not need attention. They say a man needs to fight for a place. I say, why? Why will a man fight for a place? A man. And let me put this clearly here. If you as a man, you look at a lady like this with much of respect, you respect a woman very well. The next thing that will play in your heart is to love her without she's even asking for it. And the third thing that will play in your heart, admiration will come after respect. After admiration, the loving will come. And the next thing is a lifetime commitment. The same thing to the man. The moment the lady begins to respect a man, the next thing that will come in her heart is honoring him. She doesn't care how he looks like. And the third thing is admiration. Everything he does will please her. And the fourth thing is genuine love for the man. And the last one is commitment. She will be committed to at any level. So these are the things that we don't have. That is why it's as if the woman is seeking to be loved. The man is seeking to be honored. They will now use the scripture. The Bible says, woman, submit yourself. And then they use the scripture. The Bible says, the man, love your wife. So it is now a demand. No. The moment you respect me, I'm telling you now, the moment you set up a mind to respect me, you will not find fault in my life. You will not be offended. Because these are the problems of marriage. You will not be talking against me behind. The moment you respect me, you will not be bitter over my actions. You will know how to talk around me. You know what I like and what I hate. The moment you respect me. Finish. And that is where that leads to the things you see. Admiration, love, commitment, honor. It just flows down. So that girl will just have to change the way she sees men. Finish. She starts seeing men as beings to be respected. Then she will grow love for one man who will become a part of her life.
Thank you so much. Now, if you want to get more of that profound counsel from God's servant, especially in the area of marriage, and also young ladies who are about to get into romantic relationships leading to marriage or targeted towards courtship, then be part of our Women's Convention starting from the month of May. It's the 10th to the 11th of May 2025. The 10th is a Saturday and it's for 4 p.m. And then the 11th is a Sunday. The three services will be hitting furiously on the topic around the observant. It's the theme of the event. You don't want to miss it. It's always enlightening. We're also going to be inspired and taught by our First Lady, Reverend Vivian Gold Abe, who is also going to be teaching. She's one who had commanded a lot of respect around women in the city of Asaba and also in our church. And if you are part of the Gospel Manager family, then you have to be part of that event. Remember, it's the observant, it's the, I think the second week of May, the Saturday the 10th and Sunday the 11th. God's servant will be hitting so much on that. And one of the things that we have observed from our First Lady also is her ability to observe things, especially our Father, and also even we, the children. She observes and then she has so much detail. That's why we can never find her in situations where it's becoming sour. She is very observant and very calculative. So come and learn that as a young lady and also as a married woman, grandmother, whoever that you are. Even those in business, you must also be observant as a woman in order to make profound decisions for your business. So make it a day to thought, and God bless you richly. So, what's the best way to start your month of May rather than with us at the Executives, an online prayer, healing, and prophecy service led by God's servant himself, Dr. Maxwell Golden Abe? For this edition, let's also remember we're not just getting into a new month, we're getting into a new quarter in our Beyond Greatness year. And so we're going to be praying extensively and fervently, handing over the month and also the quarter to the hands of God, going through the precepts of his guides, hearing his words undilutedly from his servant Dr. Maxwell Golden Abe. It starts on Thursday, the 1st of May at 5 p.m., and on Friday, the 2nd of May at 5 p.m., and on Saturday, the 3rd of May, would be at 7 a.m. Remember, you could send in your prayer requests and also your prayer points to us at theexecutiveonline@gmail.com, or the numbers you see on the screen with which that it's on the display at school bar. And God bless you immensely as you pray. Prayerfully prepare for it to be part of these amazing things. Set the course for the second quarter of your year and also for the month of May. Bring your children, make them be part of it online, on site, your wives, your husbands, even your staff members, because we are getting into a very important moment in the year 2025. We can't wait to have you, and we'll be joyfully expectant that you come. And God bless you as you do so in Jesus' precious name. Now, on Friday, also, we're going to be having a very special prayer service. It's tagged Battle and Rattle. God's servant will be leading us in intense prayer. It starts at 10:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. God's servant would always teach us also and also ensure that we stay fervent in prayers. And don't forget that that service also ends with a communion. We prayerfully invite you to be part of that event, and we ask that you also come and pray with us, pray on behalf of your family, the lives and destinies of your children, and even your business that you run, or the place of work where you earn a living. Come and prayerfully pray that we all have a prosperous season in this second quarter of the year 2025. And don't forget, you could be part of our Sunday service. It's a quality behavior service, and also the very first service in the month of May. The first service starts at 6:30 a.m., the second service at 8:30 a.m., and the third service at 10:30 a.m. Don't forget that the third service is also our healing and miracle service. So if you have anyone sick, anyone you've had a burden of concern, or you have been praying for God's healing to reach and touch them, then be part of that service. Bring them along if you are in the city of Asaba and its environs, or if you are not, you can actually hook up via our social media handles as you have seen previously on the screen. It is Honor World International on Facebook and Honor TV on YouTube. And also, don't forget, you could catch up via God Seven's social media handles also on Facebook at Dr. Maxwell Golden Abe and Maxwell Golden Abe, and on YouTube at Maxwell Golden Abe. God is set to give you an encounter. He is going to heal every wounded and broken heart, and everyone who had been infected by whatsoever infirmity the doctors have confirmed. God's healing is made available at our third service, so we invite you warmly, and we know that you are going to testify in Jesus' precious name. Now we're going to move into the next segment of the question, and we have a question from Tracy. And Tracy says, "Good morning, Bishop. Tracy here. Thank you sincerely for this program. It has been an atmosphere of raw, priceless knowledge. Sir, my heart is stirred today to ask you to ask about understanding within a system. Observing the world around me, it seems that true understanding is fast becoming a rare currency. I often find myself wondering, why did our ability to truly perceive others go? I was particularly moved to ask this because I've noticed that while leaders often seek to be deeply understood, sometimes patiently explaining their own side repeatedly. They can be a resistance when they can be of resistance when others attempt to explain themselves for the sake of clarity. Ironically, this sometimes contributes to the wrong notions that they seek to avoid. Sir, could you please help Sir, please, could you help us understand what is the role of mutual understanding in maintaining a healthy system? And how can leaders cultivate it without bias?
I started by talking about the power of privilege. And one of the things that we have grossly abused is the power of privilege. And because it's heavily abused, so understanding will always be a problem. You don't, for example, you talk to somebody who has been in the system for more than a year, has been there, knows the nuts and the dots of a system. But you notice the person is not driving the system. The person is not driving the system as he's supposed to drive the system. I don't understand what you want to hear from the leader. What do you want to hear from the leader? I'm just asking, what do you want to hear? You are supposed to be a driver because of your long stay, and you are not driving it. What do you want to hear? Because if you want to hear words of peace, then you should drive the system. So any other word that comes out of that is at the expense of your actions. So we live in a community where people don't see reasons why they would drive anything. They see organizations as places where they go to, not involving in the building processes of visions. So it's going to be very difficult to give anybody understanding that is in a place, comes every morning, he's giving routines of job. This is his work. He knows it's his work. He knows he's supposed to supervise people and just walk past them. He knows he has to type in a note and does not type it, and types it at the time that is suitable for him. He knows he has to preview things and does not preview. Now, what level of understanding will you sell to that kind of? Because understanding is already there. Understanding is already there because the work has details. The work has given you understanding already. You don't need to buy it. Understanding is already before you. This is your job. This is what you have to do. This is how you are going to do it. Understanding is already before you. So the thing is, people have refused to understand that visions have to progress. Because if you're bothered about the progression of the vision, you may be talking about growth, but you're not bothered about growth. So if you are bothered about progressing the system, then the little one you are doing, you will gain understanding of it. You gain understanding of that little one you are doing. And that's what I feel is lacking. There is no drive. People who work with system don't have the drive of the lead of the visionary. So because the drive is not there, there is bound to be actions that reduces the transmissions of information. So you can't sell information from the top to down when the people already have information already. The one I lead, there is information. Everybody knows what to do. But there is always a striking part. It's not right because the people don't want to drive what they have to drive. Because the day they start driving discussions will change. We are still in the same conversation because you have refused to drive yourself. When a son in a family starts sitting down to ask sensible questions, the father will always call him to come and sit down. When his son is always being called for correction, the father will never trust his judgment. It's very simple. When anytime they call you is to shout at you, it's because your actions are poor. But anytime you are called, it's for a conversation. You are growing into maturity and your counsels will be accepted. So the thing is left to those who work in systems to understand that these visions have to be run by people and they must grow themselves to fit in for that progression. So when that progression is there, understanding will be cheaply expressed. There will be no offenses. I've always said anywhere you see offenses, is people not understanding what they have to do. Anytime you hear somebody is offended, it's an understanding crack. But you were told, you have the letter, you have everything given to you, but you choose not to obey it. It's just negligence. That's all. It's negligence that is the problem of people in everywhere, part of the world. Negligence. They neglect things and feel it has to be done at the level of their pace. For goodness, you are in a system. The system controls you. Walk in guides of a system. The life park has a guide. The car park has a guide. The lift has a guide. Everything you do has a guide. Even the day has a guide. Your body system has a guide. So why do you now go to work without a guide? Why do you think you can do whatever feels you have to do? Why? So if you can get that done, understanding between the leader and the people who are working around you will not be a problem, because before you got employed, you were told what you have to do. So that's already understanding given to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so we'll take this next question, and this says, "Good morning, sir. Please, sir, I need your deep insight on this issue. I recently discovered with clear evidence that my girlfriend cheated on me sexually with another guy and hid it from me. Upon confronting the situation, I got to know the guy involved. He explained that my girlfriend had told him she was no longer with me and that she had already ended our relationship. He then showed me their chat conversations and apologized for his part. Please, sir, what should I do, because I have seen some dirty trace in her and I feel like it was just her being a friendly girl to guys, but now I feel like pouring her hot water. What should I do, because she deserved this hot water?"
I don't know why some, let me use, life should be treated with care. And one, he's not supposed to confront the young man. The young man is not the problem. I've always said any relationship where a man or a lady goes and confronts an opposite sex that is close to his spouse, to me, you are not responsible. If I see a man or a woman who is married do that, you are fighting a girl because of your husband, you are fighting a man because of your wife, I don't have respect for you. Because there's a life you have that should keep attraction around your life that nobody has. There's a way you treat somebody that nobody can treat the person. You can only learn what I do. You cannot do what I do. So if you have a pattern of life that influences somebody in a certain way, that is what makes the difference in your life. I'm trying to be the foundation here now. First, before we keep relationships, let me start from there. What after effect do these people have in our lives? If the person is not there, what is that thing the person brought to your life that nobody can ever bring? That's one. Two, when the person goes off the track, what are you supposed to do? Treat the person that went off the track, not the person that went off the track with the person. That person was invited into the scenario, and that person has no business with you. Treat the person is either in a conversation or show that you know, have a conversation with the person and be sure of the details and address the issues depending on how you feel about it. But don't create damage on the person's life, because it will affect you with the law of the land. So let's be careful how we treat certain things with life. But I just feel we are not influencing people enough to stay with them. The moment you influence somebody enough that you are doing what the person or no man can ever give to that person, that is your safety ground. It's not overprotectiveness. Do something that nobody is doing to that person's life. That's your safety ground. All these ones I see people do all the time. Your safety ground is do what nobody can do to that person's life, either male or female. That's your safety ground. And if that person now goes out to misbehave, show maturity by building conversations and making corrections. And if that leads to certain decisions, it should be decision taken between the both of you. But don't get people involved in something that is image destructive, image reductive, which tomorrow can destroy your own children if you are married. Let us learn how to manage image crisis, because the after effect of those crises will tell more on our children in the future. So let's be careful with that. That's why I tell people who want to divorce, consider that you have a family. Consider all of that you have children. And remember, your foundation will speak for their future. So be careful. If you don't have to live for your children, then there is nothing bad in that. If you don't want to live for your wife, your husband, live for your kids. Live for your children. That's the price you can pay. At least the price you can pay for somebody. So tomorrow they will talk about that as a legacy. Mandela lived for a country. Live for those kids. In case that did not work as you planned, then live for the children. And that will help you a lot.
Thank you so much. So we're going to take the very last question for today's episode. And this is from Frank. Say, good morning, sir. This is Frank from Lekki, Lagos. I have noticed that you are a man of hard work and consistency. Please, sir, you have never been a fan. Please, sir, you have never been a fan of crypto trading, but sir, people like us use that. People like us studying the blockchain technology. What are your advice, or what do you advise to use? Because some of us are studying it for a living as a career. Please, I need your advice, sir.
My direction is anything you get yourself involved in, if you build it for money purposes, it won't last. And sometimes I say these things, people look as if it's because he's a pastor. Anything you go into for the purpose of making monies, you don't make the monies coming out of it. But anything you get into because you are passionate about it will surely produce for you at the end. So let's first check, why do we get into this? I was studying the CBEX situation in Ibadan, that people lost money and things like that. Why are people still repeating these errors? Because the signs are always there. MMM came in, this forest team came in, it's always there. So why do we go? Because we are not a people of passion. We are people of gain, gain, gain. Somebody wants gain, 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 gain. And check the gain factor. Very small thing. It's not a long time gain. It's a very short time gain. A gain of 1 week, a gain of 2 days, a gain of 4 days. If that's what I wanted, I know what I would have done with myself. That's not what I want in my life. That gain factor thing is the problem. So if you want to build any sector for your life, sit down first and check how passionate are you about it. Is it for passion? If that thing does not produce for the next 10 years, can you still be consistent in it until it produces? Now, those are questions you have to ask yourself. If it is built on passion, then go ahead and do it. But if it is built on some interest of money making for 2, 3 days, it's not something to dive in, because at the end, you're going to have the pain of not putting your passion into it.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, from what God servant had said, as individuals, do not allow people capitalize on your current financial situation to influence your financial decision. Always have an understanding, a clear understanding of what is at stake, and be also vigilant to know when someone wants to take advantage of you, and also owing to the current issues like CBEX and the rest that had collapsed. So make sure you make profound learning about things that you put your money to, so you don't become a victim to another man's appetite for profit making and generation. I'm going to leave the floor now for God's servant to give his closing remarks and bless us for our quality behavior week.
I still want to talk to leaders. Let us try to study the word patience and long suffering. You know, we modify things a lot. People think long suffering is suffer long, it's endurance. Let us build people who can endure, not people who are patient. Because to run a vision, you need endurance to do that. And the people we have today are people of patience. And a patient man can be offended. But a man who endures cannot be offended. So because of the rate of offenses I see today, as a pastor, I see it in the flocks I live. And I see it in people. It is becoming so annoying to see how people get offended. So let's try as much as we can as leaders to know the people, watch me, to know the people who get into our circle. The privileges we give to people must be checked. Because if we don't check that, I'm talking to a young man now who is a leader, he's not married yet. If he wants to get married, the person that should be his wife. You should see the vision more in the lady than love. And you should put that lady, or that, in case the girl is a visionary, you should put that man more on the test of the vision, not love. And 2, if you are married and you have a vision, you should test your family with the vision. Not love, the vision itself. And if you want to put people in your circle, it should be because of the vision. I'm saying this because of the rate of, because offenses is what, let me start from the processes. It starts from complaint, murmuring, then offenses, then grow to betrayal. Now all of these things you see play around systems today is because we take power and give to people who are not supposed to hold power. We take love and give to people who are not supposed to be loved. So power and love is being released to systems that people who will not know how to return back because there's what I call the loyalty of power. You return the power loyalty back to the one who gave you. To the people you give power, keep it. They return back to you as powerful people, not as loyal people. So that those who you give love, they return back to you as the people you give love. They don't give you love, they return back to you what you give them, but not the expression of what you give them. So because of that, if you check the systems of the earth today, there is more of people that are trusted that are like enemies to those who trusted them. So we need to start checking all of that. Those who give power to, those who give love to, and start the review process of it now. Because the disappointing rate over people, because power makes you take charge. Love makes you ignore things. The day you try to correct what you give to somebody you love is offenses. The day you try to correct the power you give to somebody is notions to it. Pictures will be created. And that is why we need to define who we give power to and who we give love. Remember I said, when you give love to people, the day you start correcting them, they will be offended, heavily offended. The people you give power to, they will read 1,000 meaning to your corrections because you gave power to people who you were not supposed to give power to. So let us check this as leaders and know that power and the love access must be defined from henceforth to enable us run a healthy system, whether as a church, whether as a business, whether as a family, if it to progress, because the next growth is tied to the people you give power and love to. I thought it's the, no, anything that grows is from the people you give power and love to. If you want it to grow, it's in their hands. How they use the power and how they use the love. If they are not using it effectively, the people before them will not progress. And because by extension you don't want to bypass them, you still need them, you're using the same people who are not making things work. So they will still be going back and doing the same thing until you are smart enough to change them. But if you can't change them, as the day go by, your business is dying, your things are dying, and remember, when the thing dies finally, they will leave and go because they are free birds, they have to go. You own the vision. So let us fight as leaders to understand the power privilege and the love privilege and know how to use it. So I pray for the best of days in your life in Jesus' name. Be wise. God bless you.
Power and privilege are the most beautiful tools to everyone who is wise enough to use them. So, as we have been taught by God's servant in this episode, one of the reasons why we say life is beautiful, you, my friend, you can handle it. We'll see you on Friday when Gospel Manager returns. God bless you and have a wonderful and productive week.